Hi there, my name is Grant Glass. I am a PhD candidate in the Department of English and Comparative Literature at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. My dissertation project, briefly titled, is Specters of Crusoe. And I'm mainly dealing in my dissertation work with Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. And in my work, I'm asking the question, why do we continue to retell this story? It is a 300-year-old story that's always been in print. And maybe you haven't read it, but you've definitely encountered one of its adaptations, Castaway, or Swiss Family Robinson, or Lost in Space. Any of those are adaptations of Robinson Crusoe. And the reason why I'm interested in this question is Robinson Crusoe is one of the texts that was published in the beginning of the slave trade. And the story has a native in an island which Crusoe enslaves. In the course of being shipwrecked, Crusoe sells a boy off in order to escape. So there are a lot of things in this text which are reflective of the slave trade. And even though in some of these retellings, there's not, explicit slavery or slave trade, it still is tied to that story. So what I'm interested in investigating in my work is, where are these adaptations? Have we identified ones that we don't know about? How many stories can you think of someone being stranded on an island or a planet? So I'm using computers to figure out what different stories and TV shows and movies have used this plot and these allusions to the text before. And then what I'm doing is I'm looking at when those were published. And does this have any relation to the way in which people of color have been exploited, have been killed, have had violence pointed towards them in the history of this country and in Britain, right? There has to be some tie to say, we're telling a story that has this past, and even though we're trying to remove that past, it still persists nonetheless. And so that's what I'm investigating, is what are the ties between these things, and maybe can this sort of retelling explain the inability of our world and our society to move past slavery, to acknowledge what happened, right? And acknowledge those that have died and have been victims of this terrible long history. And so through analyzing Crusoe, I can get to the point of, can we think about how we retell stories, and in the retelling of those stories, are we also retelling and reenacting history as well?